We'll be sharing those with you so you can know how they taste.
I
How
won't
about
turn
that?
that down.
Yes.
No way. I don't want to spend half the day tearing down this brush. It better be worth it. Let's take a peek what we've got. Hi there everyone, I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman and I'd like to welcome you to the Barria. Do you remember the Barria? A couple years ago I set out to make this little patch of land next to our garden shed an area dedicated to growing barrias, and it's gone through several iterations but has always typically ended up with a lot of overgrowth and weed and frankly a little bit of neglect. It's been hard to keep tabs on this area. But this year I think we're kind of taking a new approach. The setup that we settled on, I think about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, everything kind of gets blurry when Henry came along. But the primary way that we wanted to approach the Barria was to have two kind of rows of transplanted raspberries. Raspberries grow, wild raspberries go very easily on our homestead, and we transplanted a bunch of them. And we zip tied the canes to these wires that we set up. The canes have taken off, they've gone very prolific. And the berries that have come out from this section have been so-so. We've actually been spending the past few days trimming some of the dead canes and focusing on putting the live canes back up. I think we're gonna keep them. Again, those berries were decent, they weren't horrible. This whole area that you see here, these are wild blackberries, and these ones are a little bit tougher to stomach. They're not really that good when you just eat them from the cane, but they're really good for jams and jellies. Holly actually took a bunch of the blackberries that we took from this big patch that you see right here. She turned it into really tasty like gummies and frozen jams and jellies, and they're really good. They're really incredible. So, you know, Holly and I were actually sitting here talking about, hey, what are we going to do with this whole area of wild blackberries? I'm inclined to just chop it down and start with something new, cultivated blackberry bushes or something like that, maybe wild blueberries, something like that. And she said, no, let's hold on. Let's save these blackberries, which grow prolifically here, these wild blackberries, let's save them for things like jams and jellies. It's something that Henry really likes anyways. So I think that's what we're going to do. Now, obviously, I've got a lot of work in front of me. I need to clear this whole area out of weeds and nettles. Thankfully, the Bermuda grass isn't growing in here anymore, but there's a lot of nettles. I may keep some of it on the ground. And then, of course, there's some random surprises like this bonus rhubarb. I don't really know what to do with rhubarb. Holly has some better ideas what to do. I think there's some thyme over there that we planted that's doing pretty well, but there's a little bit of cleanup that we need to do. The bigger thing that I think that we're gonna do this year, this whole patch of trees that you see behind me, the other side of that patch is our compost. I'll walk you over there. As you know, I've been working on the compost. This is our curated compost pile. It's always a work in progress. Right now it has some old chick clippings in there. And then these are the bonus compost piles that I recently discovered and I'm going to sift through for our garden, which will be starting in the next few weeks. But all of this right here, we're thinking about just taking it all down. It's kind of junk wood. Taking this down and maybe putting a row of maybe some more fruit trees, as well as some berries, some cultivated berries that we'll buy off homestead from local nurseries. And using this whole patch of land here behind the garden shed as kind of our berry lane, in addition to the Barria right here. So we want to get more serious about berries and fruits. And we're thinking, let's take this stuff down, see what the land looks like, and maybe when it's fresh and raw and kind of newly cut, we'll use this area for more berry production. One thing I'm slightly curious about is there's a pile of what could either be industrial junk or it looks from a distance like sheet metal, and it could just be old rusted sheet metal, but there's something under it. So I don't know if there's some sort of construction materials under that that might still be salvageable. So as I chip away at this brush right here and start to work through it, I'm pretty interested to see what I'll find underneath those panels of sheet metal right there. As I'm walking around here, I started to notice something, and I have no idea what it is, and it's frankly a little disturbing, and I figured I'd ask you guys what I'm looking at. You'll note, let me bring in the camera. You'll note these little odd red lipstick things are growing up everywhere around here in kind of this really damp, mulchy part next to the barrier. They seem to be pretty prolific. They almost look like foam. I have no idea what they are. They're very alien looking and almost synthetic looking, as if it's kind of some sort of pink styrofoam, but I know it's not pink styrofoam. There's no reason we would have pink styrofoam here. So it's something natural and something organic. I can only assume it's some sort of weird fungi that I've never heard of. That's that or some sort of alien spores are taking over the Ostad, one of the two. As I was talking, a pretty wicked downpour came in, very windy. The sheets of rain were coming down a second ago. It's kind of chilled out a little bit, but it's still very rainy right now. So I don't think any work's going to be getting done today out here. It's just too rainy. But I do know that it's supposed to be nice and sunny tomorrow. And we're also going to have some visitors with a special present for us tomorrow. So I think I'll prep for their arrival and take it easy for the rest of the evening tonight. That's huge, isn't it, buddy? That's gigantic, isn't it? Yes, so today I've been visited by Jim and Kathy of Two Turtles Homestead.
Hello, everybody.
For those of you that haven't checked out their YouTube channel, please go check it out. I'd encourage you to check it out. You guys are, I'm on the microphone. You guys are close to 1,000 subscribers, right?
We're very close, yes.
They're really close to 1,000 subscribers, and I feel it's just like a couple more to get them over the line. So if you guys want to check out their channel and you like what you see, which I'm sure you will, please go check their channel and subscribe to them. But today's a big day because they graciously brought me...
Do not drop them. They're very
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be crazy if I dropped them right now? These eggs, these breast chicken eggs, and I'm going to grab the camera right now so everyone can see them. These numbers look like dates.
They are. So those are the dates that I collected, those eggs. And I mainly do that for just my information to see, because I think in general the collection time, anything like a week to 10 days, you want to not go over that for collecting for viability. So I just was keeping up because, you know, as well as I do, the chickens are in their laying heyday right now, and so
Yes,
you're
they
just
are.
getting an abundance of eggs. So I've had to keep these separate from all of the rest of my eating eggs. So I was just keeping the date just so I could keep up with how long it took me to get you to a dozen.
So all of us at the Yosted, we really, really appreciate you guys gifting us with our breast chickens. I think this first year we'll probably focus on just having them get used to it and breeding them.
Yes.
And then probably next year we'll focus more on getting them into like a meat program.
Yeah.
That would be great.
They taste delicious. They taste like an old school chicken.
Yes. So
can't wait.
here's what we can do, since we're going to be probably, our plan is to hatch about 60 to not only build our breeding flock, but to also eat. So we'll be sharing those with you so you can know how they taste.
I won't turn that down. No way. Awesome. That's
And
great.
maybe some more turkeys.
It's funny you mentioned turkeys because in the last video we talked about how we're a little bit concerned because Lenny didn't seem to be in the mood with Laverne.
He's a little shy.
He's a little shy, but then the very next day, not even kidding, the very next day after I filmed that video or put that video out, he must have heard me talking because I caught him mating with Laverne. I caught him. And then Jim, you brought up a good point that he's got like feather wear.
The feathers are ruffled up underneath his beard right there, because we was watching the video. That's why I told Kathy, I was like, he's been mating because he's got ruffled feathers.
What we're assuming is that he's just been a little bit discreet
Yes.
about his mating.
And I would say that of the 4, he and Laverne were the most discreet. Now, you can come up to our house, and our Lenny and Shirley, you'll see them all over the place. I know for a fact they're mating.
So what I'll probably start doing is checking those turkey eggs, because we love to eat the turkey eggs, but checking them for kind of the telltale little target, little
Yeah, and like
bullseye.
I said, I have 5 in my incubator now, and all 5 of them are growing. So, and our goal for that this year was just to get Shirley a partner or a mate, not a male mate, but another girl,
Yeah, sure.
another hen, because
friend.
a friend, because
She's a little
she's
lonely.
missing Laverne a little
Yeah.
bit. So,
Okay.
our goal was to do that. And so, if you want any of those, once I get them past the 3-week mark, which is the sticking point.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about that. But Jim and Kathy, thank you so much for coming out here. I know it's a little bit of a drive, 40
not
minutes
far.
or so, but still coming out here and helping out. And we'll be talking some more.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So thank you so much for the eggs. Really appreciate it. All right, now that I've got the breast eggs in the incubator and they're ready to go, they're waiting out their 21 days or 3 weeks before hatch out. It's time for me to switch my focus to this big patch of brush and junk trees that you see behind me. On the other side of this, as I showed you earlier in the video, is the compost stations. The bonus compost that I found, our fresh compost, and then there's this brush. I think my goal is to get as much of this brush knocked out today. Eventually, as I was saying earlier, we want this to be kind of an area for berries. All of this whole area right here, I want to get knocked out. You can see some wild berries growing right there. But it would be nice if none of this was here and we could use this for, like I said, berries. My goal today, I don't think I'll be able to get all of it today. I did bring the tractor along in case a tractor might help. I don't know. I also brought the chainsaw and the brush clearing attachment for the weed whipper. Between all of these different tools, hopefully we'll be able to get a fair portion of it done. My big goal right now, though, I'm very, very curious to see what's under those panels of sheet metal. I feel like there's something under there that might be worth salvaging. So if I can at least get this much cleared out to there, I'll consider this day a success. With the tractor's help, I think we'll be able to get the whole thing knocked out in a few days. But that's the primary goal for today, is to see what's waiting for us under those sheet metal panels. So there's nothing else to say now except let's get started. this is really clearing out, and I'm at the point where I'm ready to take the tractor, put the box blade down, and kind of pull some of this brush out. It's really cleared out. But before I bring the tractor here, I want to cut up any stumps, especially the saplings that are sticking up and still firm. So it could easily puncture a hole in the tire, and I don't want that. My goal when I set out this morning was to take half of this big patch of brush and tear it down, and I've done it. Where I'm standing right now this morning was just impenetrable thicket, and now it's workable land. I'll have to clear a little bit more and do some more dredging work to get rid of this kind of the brush that's left over on the top. But this whole area is opened up and we can do stuff with this now. I may need to bring the tiller to this, see what the rock situation is under here, but it's nice to have like extra land by our house, by our garden shed that we can actually use here. Berry patch in the future, maybe. I still have half the thicket to go. I don't think I'm gonna attack that today, but the thing I was really excited about today was seeing what was under here. So there's still a little bit of junk here. Vines, these vines are vicious. I may clear some of them, but I'm really anxious to see the condition of whatever it is that's underneath those things. So let's do it, let's see what's under there. Now I do know that a snake made his way under here. I think it was a king snake, a black snake. Not 100% sure, but I did see him slither under here, so I will be cognizant that there might be some snakes hanging out down here, but let's take a peek what we've got and see the condition of it. All right. Okay. There is a lot of wood here, guys. What condition is it in? Oh, I don't know. The stuff on the outside's pretty torn up and eaten up. That's eaten up. Is this all eaten up? Is this all bad? Let's take off some more of this. It looks like it's tongue and groove, and it looks like it's torn up, eaten up pretty bad, unfortunately. You know, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to spend half the day tearing down this brush. It better be worth it. I'm disappointed because I knew there was some kind of wood down here. I just didn't know what condition it was in. Is there anything that's good? No, it's all torn up. This has just been sitting here for years. And so I'm gonna have to burn this stuff, move it out, burn it. You know, the other part of me, the other side of me is happy that I'm clearing this out and making usable land of it. If I seem a bit disappointed, I am. I was really excited about it. But again, look at this. This was all thicket this morning, and now I've got it cleared out. I've got some work in front of me to clear out this junk and burn it, which won't be fun. It's all soggy and rotten. But once I do, this whole area, I mean, take a walk with me, guys. Here's the compost pile I was showing you in the last video. Look, you can see the garden shed now. Do a little more walking. There's our compost pile. There's just this stuff that remains right there. There's our house. The garden shed's right there. Garden's on the other side. Once I can clear this stuff, which honestly I think is what I'm going to focus on next, is I'll come in from the other side. And once I've cleared all around it, then I'll get this stuff and burn it and trash it. Hey, there's something to be said about every once in a while you'll find little secret treasures on the homestead. I mean, it's common in this area for people that have land. They used to just, I don't know if there was a dump nearby, so they'd often have kind of a dump on their land. And a lot of people hear that and they're like, why would you have a dump on your own land? It was very common. You know, in the back pasture, I think there's 2 other dumps with just kind of industrial waste that was thrown away over the years. It's not like house trash. I think most people would burn that. This is bigger stuff. This is industrial waste. Before there was a dump nearby, that was just the most convenient place to put your industrial junk. Big pieces of wood, big pieces of masonry, construction junk. You just kept it on your land. The cool thing about that is every once in a while there's something you can salvage. You know, I'm not going to dig through this. Eventually we're going to get a dumpster out here and go through these piles of junk and get them hauled off. But, you know, just crossing my fingers that I can find something that's salvageable. This stuff right here, unfortunately, isn't salvageable. But that's okay. I think next, I was going to cut down this tree, but this is a little big for casual brush clearing. I may need to bust out the bigger chainsaw for this. But the rest of this stuff I can pick at in probably an afternoon or 2 and get this all cleared up. I will say, man, it's really, really nice having all this open space. And knowing that, hey, let's look at this dirt here. Knowing that, you know, this is really rich soil. With some work, we might be able to turn this into a pretty thriving little berry area. Berry part 2. We'll see.